Previously on the greatest estate developer. Our hero shattered the sky-high tower, outran the relentless system, and survived a betrayal that ripped the city apart, igniting a war of endless ambition. And now the story continues. The empire of the greatest estate developer crumbles and the kingdom gasps. Mai strides forward, proclaiming himself the true master. He urges the crowd, fear nothing. He reveals that Nox's power remains dormant, its hidden surge teetering on the brink. The Grandmaster lifts his hand, warning his power still lags behind full strength. He orders the nobles to watch, readying a display of raw might. A skeptic snorts, "Ha! The coming surge threatens to cleave enemy ranks." The Grandmaster erupts a pulse of raw energy. The blast ripples, kicking dust skyward. Nobles shield their eyes from the blinding glare. The shockwave flings 3 guards aside. The typhoon smashes the fragments, holy water scorching them. Cracks spider across dark stones. The Grandmaster's aura flares, driving fragments backward. Suho notes the pattern, primed to employ his engineering trick. The tactician sketches a counter-structure amid the raging battle. The battlefield throbs as the final fragment erupts. The tactician points his staff, shouting a command. Allies surge forward, intent on crushing the beast. Suho steadies his stance, readying his invention. The clash will decide the kingdom's fate. Howard declares triumph as the battle pivots. He lifts his banner, urging troops onward. The enemy commander scowls. Allies watch, uncertain whether the tide truly turns. Kingdom forces scramble to regroup. Howard win this. The Grandmaster's energy meter glows, hovering at near maximum. His eyes blaze white, heralding peak output. He fuses holy water and storm energy into a single blast. Enemy defenses shatter under the mounting force. He prepares to breach the final barrier. Knights clamp their swords, shields up. Mage Oisin intensifies the magical wind, spiraling it into a vortex. The giant hamster darts, scattering debris. Suho Lloyd watches the formation, plotting his next engineering tweak. All brace for the incoming surge. The allies ready their final strike. Dark fragments coalesce, forming a throbbing mass. The ground trembles as the evil god's core reassembles. Holy water sizzles against the darkness. The Grandmaster's aura flares, striving to contain the surge. The Grandmaster unleashes a thunderous burst. HV! Shockwaves ripple, shattering dark fragments. Light erupts, bathing the field. Allies gasp as the enemy's core cracks. The tide turns dramatically.
HV!
Now the Grandmaster strives to reach full power. Suho Lloyd shouts, "Let's finish this, just the 2 off." He points at the 2 remaining enemy soldiers. The giant hamster charges, smashing a stone wall. Park Seong-woo draws his sword, cutting the first foe. The second retreats toward the magical barrier. Their swift strike prevents regrouping, driving the clash toward the power core. Let's finish this, just the 2 off. The 2 foes converge on the power gauge. Suho Lloyd drafts a stone wall across the northern ridge. Park Seong-woo hands him a rolled land survey. The giant hamster drags heavy stones, placing them swiftly. A commander oversees construction, directing workers. New fortifications rise as the kingdom braces for invasion. The War Council convenes to decide the next move.
Suho Lloyd and the giant hamster launch a massive steel arch across the battlefield, sealing the core as the Grandmaster's dark aura erupts and the power gauge flashes, stabilizing at full strength. Park Seong-woo feels the weight of victory as his blade rests, while Suho Lloyd bears the crushing responsibility of protecting the realm, knowing any misstep could unleash the Grandmaster's wrath again. Beyond the sealed arena, the Northern Army advances under Lord Jang Sunghyun's banner, and a mysterious map points to an unseen threat, leaving the fate of the newly forged frontier hanging in uncertainty.
When the system gives you a hidden quest, you take it. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari.
The blueprint fails, 10 minutes to total collapse. Mai, the legendary estate developer, storms into the shattered quarter. He scans the skeletal towers, eyes snapping to a cracked foundation marker. He unrolls a crinkled plan, whispers the looming deadline. He sketches emergency support lines with frantic speed. He knows the falling mass will swallow the lower district. Every second counts, his hands fly. The fate counter blazes a hollow dash, heralding a desperate bargain. The fate counter sputters a lone dash, a scarlet numeral searing the heavens. Suho Kim, the reluctant heir, peers from the balcony, heart thudding under the omen. He feels the crushing grief of countless lives at stake. The giant hamster lumbers forward, massive paws crushing a stone pillar. Dust erupts, revealing a hidden tunnel beneath the throne room. The tunnel opens toward the kingdom's outer walls. The dragon silhouette above circles lower, its wings casting a massive shadow. The Dragon King lowers his crystal, channeling a wind that clears the smoke. Citizens peeking from ruined streets see the tunnel and rush toward it, hopeful for escape. Suho follows the hamster, carrying the rune and his device. The Hell King snarls, unable to follow the rapid collapse. The tunnel's entrance glows, promising a new path out of the cursed citadel. Suho reaches the tunnel's end, where a new threat looms. Suho turns toward the lingering voice, his mind racing. He recalls his engineering training, treating the contract like a blueprint. He mutters a short acknowledgement, buying time. The brief reply signals he's listening but not yet committing. It keeps the negotiation alive and forces the Hell King's echo to stay engaged. Oh, right. Suho now plans to use his knowledge to rewrite the terms. You feel the weight of a single borrowed life pressing against your chest. The echo of the Hell King repeats a grim fact. It declares that Kim Suho still has only one life left, granted by the Dragon King. Suho lifts his hand, pointing at a tiny music note etched into the contract's edge. The note glows, resonating with the rune's gears. He whispers the agreed song phrase, a darkly humorous promise to the Hell King. The Hell King pauses, curiosity flickering, then lowers his weapon, intrigued by the odd offer. Javier lowers his aura, his eyes narrowing, sensing the shift. The contract's light expands, sealing a clause that grants Suho a no work ever again guarantee in exchange for the single life's preservation. The Hell King nods, the dark fire dimming, and steps back into the shadows. Suho feels the weight of his borrowed life ease, the contract now binding both parties. The chamber quiets, the rune's gears turning smoothly. Suho steps forward, voice steady. Hey, King of Hell, move the circle aside. Let's talk, the terms are right. The Hell King raises a skeletal hand. The fire around the circle flares, and a low rumble vibrates through the hall. He eyes Suho, recognizing the engineer's aura. The demons pause, waiting for his response. Suho's device spikes in energy, reflecting the king's power back toward the floating circle. The atmosphere thickens with crackling magic as the two sides assess the proposal. The king now weighs Suho's offer against his own cruel agenda. The Hell King leans forward, his crown of thorns casting shadows over Suho.
Suho strides into the Hell King's obsidian throne room, flips the flaming circle aside, and forces a high-stakes negotiation with the demon monarch over the estate's salvation, his resolve blazing like a furnace. Villagers' hope trembles on the brink, while Suho risks surrendering his freedom, accepting a cursed existence of endless leisure or losing the chance to rebuild his shattered manor forever, the weight of destiny pressing on his shoulders. The Hell King's crown of thorns glints ominously as the fire circle pulses, leaving Suho's fate hanging between mortal sacrifice and a demonic pact that could shatter everything, a perilous crossroads awaiting his final choice.
End of the chapter. Time to subscribe to Manwa with Harry.
The riverfront blueprint crumbles at noon, the entire borough collapsing in a thunderous roar. The architect scans the plans, eyes snagging a miscalculated load on the central tower. The senior engineer warns, the flaw will unleash a seismic quake, burying thousands and shattering his name. Panic spikes. He must redraw the schematics before the imperial deadline, and he still hasn't confessed the error to the court. A breath-heavy courier slams a sealed scroll onto the architect's desk. Crimson ink spells a single A. The imperial scribe reads it as a summons from the court, demanding an immediate audit of every project. Refusal means exile. A holographic scene flickers beside the demon, displaying a counter labeled DFP. The code reads IKF, an indecipherable string. The architect leans in, trying to parse the metric, sensing it tracks progress toward an unknown goal.
Number of DFP saved, ICF. The counter pulses, hinting that each task will shift the enigmatic tally.
The hologram blinks, updating the DFP count to 3. The architect notes the rise. Each completed request lifts the tally. The demon nods, confirming momentum. The stakes climb as the number climbs.
Number of DFP saved. The demon prepares a final, more dangerous request, targeting the architect's core allies.
The holographic display shivers, now showing dew, where the unreadable code once sat. The architect steps into the mine's black tunnel, torch flickering. He sketches the cavern walls, noting unstable pillars. The giant hamster scurries ahead, paws illuminating hidden cracks. The knight follows, shield raised, scanning for ambushes. The demon watches from a shadowed ridge, eyes flickering with dark fire. The architect marks a safe route, preventing collapse. Their progress decides whether the cursed mine becomes a shortcut or a death trap. The team reaches the central chamber. In the central chamber, a glowing crystal pulsates at its core. The architect signals the hamster to snatch it while he rigs a support brace. The demon's voice booms, declaring the final condition of the bargain. An echoing baibong reverberates as the crystal shatters, fragments of glowing stone raining down, forming a swirling vortex. The demon steps back, eyes widening at the unexpected rupture. The giant hamster scrambles to safety, fur puffed. The knight lunges toward the vortex, hoping to seize any advantage. The new portal opens a path toward the hell-bound realm, threatening to pull the messenger away. The architect must decide whether to plunge into the portal or seal it forever. The crystal fragments explode and the demon leans forward, whispering, "We love you." The twisted compliment stings, exposing the demon's cruel mind game. The architect's resolve wavers, yet the portal yawns behind him.
The architect slams his hand into the crystal, shattering it into a storm of glowing shards that ignite a raging vortex, while the demon brandishes a stylus and carves the blazing Chinese runesan onto the wall. The architect feels the demon's twisted compliment pierce his soul, resolve wavering as the promise of power tempts him, while the giant hamster cowers and the knight steadies his blade, eyes fixed on the abyss. The architect hovers over the yawning vortex. The demon's etched sun glows crimson, hinting at a hidden condition, while the messenger's ghost flickers at the portal's edge, leaving the true cost of power terrifyingly unknown.
Stat maxing is an art form. Subscribe to Manwa with Harry to watch the numbers go up.
Angelic blessings become hellish curses. The city teeters on the brink of ruin. A tidal scene blazes, Chinese letter the greatest estate developer. Reborn as Kim Soo-ho, the unrivaled land magnate, he perches on a towering spire, eyes scanning the kingdom's scarred streets. Fist clenched, he knows his modern insight must shatter a debt-laden noble order. This spark ignites his war against the aristocracy. Fueled by steel-hard resolve, Soo-ho storms toward his first showdown with Raphael. Soo-ho challenges the notion of demons, asking if they share humanity's pain and doubts. He cracks a grin, brushing off his bruises as just another living wound. Raphael hovers above the broken gate, his aura flickering like dying embers. He fixes his gaze on Soo-ho, who stands amid the wreckage, clutching his contraption. Soo-ho's jaw tightens. Retreat is not an option. Their duel will measure Soo-ho's iron will and the destiny of his estate. The Hell King readies a final, deadly ultimatum.
And yet, you still insist on taking on the most dangerous job.
Soo-ho strides forward, eyes narrowed, and bellows his challenge. The sacrifice.
I never do that stupid thing, even if I die. That's how. The demon lord lifts his hand, releasing a torrent of dark energy that crashes towards Soo-ho.
The device on Soo-ho's arm sputters. A harsh "fuck" reverberates across the field. Sparks cascade as the gate's fissures broaden. The massive hamster rears, claws gouging the stone, trembling the ground. The demon watches, smirking, certain the surge will crush Soo-ho's scheme. The sound marks the final seconds of Soo-ho's power.
Fuck!
As the gate trembles, Soo-ho inches toward his desperate decision. Soo-ho grits his teeth, bellowing, "Set us!" He yanks the control lever, diverting the device's energy into the gate. The surge swells, dragging the demon's dark aura inward. The giant hamster lunges, its colossal body prying the gate wider. Soo-ho's command signals his resolve to imprison the king forever. Soo-ho exhales a short, hollow "oh" that rings across the field. The sound marks his acceptance of the looming risk. The giant hamster steadies, eyes locked on the gate. Enemy riders charge, blades flashing. Suho lifts his hand, poised to unleash his final invention. The climax looms as Suho readies his last weapon before his power expires. Suho and his allies gather before the gate of reincarnation. Raphael steps forward, questioning whether the King of Hell, the Archangel, or Ver-Kiz would be reborn as random creatures elsewhere. He suggests capturing the Hell King and hurling him into the gate, only if the king proves an easy foe. The giant hamster bolts forward, crashing into the enemy line. Its massive body shatters swords and shields, scattering riders like leaves. Suho watches, his invention still humming, as the hamster clears a path toward the gate. The chaos carves a narrow corridor to his device. This breakthrough may let him fire the final blast before the timer expires. The hamster's charge opens a route to the gate's core. Suho spots the Hell King erupting from the gate's maw, a towering figure wreathed in flames. He gasps, then lets out a startled exclamation. The demon's eyes lock onto Suho, radiating dread. The sight confirms the prince's warning. The Hell King has arrived.
The giant hamster barrels into the Hell King as Suho's countdown hits 6 seconds. The gate flickering, his invention poised to unleash a blast. The clash erupts, a surge of kinetic fury colliding with infernal fire, each heartbeat echoing the fate of the realm. Suho cries his name, trembling between fear that the hamster will wreck his invention and desperation to shield his friends. His pride and terror igniting the fiery battlefield. With only seconds left, the Hell King raises a shadowed hand, darkness coiling like a serpent, while the hamster's charge threatens to shatter the gate and everything beyond. The air crackles, the final showdown imminent.
The action is only getting faster. Subscribe to Manwa with Harry and try to keep up.
The skyline fractures, steel skeletons tumbling like shattered glass. Lee Jun-woo, the unrivaled estate magnate, watches his empire crumble in a heartbeat. Every tower's fall pulls his fortune toward oblivion. He curls his fist, fire igniting in his veins. Bastia's storm still looms, untouched, ready to strike. A breathless courier bursts through the gates, eyes wide with panic. He slams a sealed, crimson-marked report into Lee Jun-woo's palm. The parchment details Bastia's imminent annihilation of the city. Lee scans the ink, heart hammering as the deadline tightens. He snaps his fingers, commanding the defenses to rise before the first wave crashes. The lead engineer steps forward, gaze locked on Bastia's silhouette. A deafening, guttural roar shatters the silence as iron-filled water surges forward. The flood crushes stone, bends steel, and turns the battlefield into a rusted river. The iron-flooded night advances, swallowing everything in its path. Iron-filled water engulfs the field, drowning soldiers and machines alike. Rust stains the ground, slick and unforgiving. The iron-flooded night blankets the horizon, sealing the arena in a metal tomb. No escape remains beneath the relentless tide. The flood coats stone and armor in a rusted sheen. The engineer watches his allies sink, while Bastia remains unmoved, a smug grin on his face. The torrent blocks every advance, forcing combatants to retreat or be consumed. Floodwater rises, spilling over cracked streets. The engineer shouts orders, urging his team to seal every fissure. The extra crouches at the waterline, eyes scanning the swelling tide. A distant rumble signals Bastia's imminent single propulsion strike, heightening the dread. The extra steps into the rusted water, hands lifted. A blinding pulse erupts, cloaking his form in light before he vanishes, leaving only a faint echo. The engineer watches, heart heavy, aware that the sacrifice thins their ranks. The flood's core reactor still burns, threatening total collapse. A digital gauge on the flood device flashes crimson, numbers racing down. The engineer and his crew stare at the display, realizing only seconds remain before catastrophic overload. The reinforced flood core steadies, steam hissing as pressure equalizes. Dark clouds swirl above, and a foreboding title flashes: Iron-Flooded Night. The ominous label warns that a greater iron-clad disaster approaches, ready to engulf the kingdom. The engineer scans the core's glowing lattice, spotting cracks forming along the lower seams. He orders the shield to redistribute power, dropping pressure just enough to prevent an immediate burst. The maneuver buys critical time, but Bastia eyes a fresh weak point. Bastia clenches his fists, aura blazing brighter. He channels propulsion energy through his limbs, stepping forward to unleash a sweeping blast at the reinforced wall.
Bastia channels his propulsion energy through his bare feet, detonating a colossal blast that shatters the engineer's newly hardened concrete pods, sending the flood surge crashing into the arena. The engineer feels the weight of his failure as the protective armor collapses, his confidence cracking while the world's survival teeters on the brink of an ironclad deluge. The extra's lingering sigil pulses ominously on the core, hinting at a hidden catalyst that could either seal the flood forever or unleash a catastrophic cascade, leaving the arena's fate hanging in volatile uncertainty.
Let me do the heavy lifting while you sit back and enjoy. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari every week.
The tower's core erupts, a blinding flash that shatters the kingdom's future. Han Yi Haiyan watches the inferno devour the skyscraper he just completed. Screams echo, steel twists, and the estate system screams red. He flings his blueprints, roars orders, and summons the emergency council. Engineers scramble to brace the wreck before the collapse spreads. He feels the district's lifeline snapping. Meanwhile, Mira runs the damage scan, her tablet sparking with a demon-powered reconstruction proposal. Mira darts to the shattered foundation, her tablet flaring with schematics. She maps the warped steel, tags salvageable sections, and feeds the repair cost into the estate AI. The AI flags a rare ore deficit and recommends tapping the royal vault. At the Academy's gate, a stone plaque bears the characters, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter. Han Yi Haiyan translates, 3 Rivers, 3rd District. He realizes the Academy sits atop a network of water veins, a gold mine for future estates. Scholars greet the team, handing scrolls that map the area's magical currents. Klaus pores over the scrolls, spotting a hidden conduit that could power the tunnel lifts. Han dispatches a survey squad to chart the river network. Demons pause, eyes drawn to the flowing water. Soldiers pitch a temporary camp on the riverbank, ready for extended ops. The dashboard adds 3 rivers as a new zone, sparking visions of sprawling plots. A messenger arrives with a sealed, coded letter that might unlock a secret resource. The crew shoves the first ore carts out of the tunnel. Suho directs demons to load the ore onto wooden sleds. The sleds glide on rails forged by knights. A sudden water leak erupts from the tunnel wall, flooding the lower level. Suho commands a seal spell. The spell snaps shut, hissing steam. Night Engineer Jin inspects the sealed breach, nods approvingly. The giant hamster Hammy pushes a cart uphill with surprising speed. The ore carts arrive at the palace gates, where royal guards tally the glittering ore, whispering about its immense value. Suho watches the tally climb, a smile spreading as the estate's wealth grows. A messenger from Princess Lion arrives, demanding a report. A shouting foreman points toward the tunnel entrance. "This way, bring more people over here," he commands, eyes scanning the distant path. Workers grunt, muscles straining as they haul extra stone and timber. The giant hamster squeaks, ears twitching, pulling another rope to reinforce the wall. The foreman's voice rises over the clatter, urging the crew onward. "Heavy labor," he shouts, feeling his own muscles bulge. The team answers with a unified chant, "All right, everyone. Keep it up." Morale spikes, pace quickens. The coordinated push promises to finish the tunnel and open the trade route before nightfall.
Han Jae-hyun orders the entire construction crew to abandon the Mare Restoration, redirects seasoned soldiers to the tunnel, and triggers an emergency safety protocol as the foreman shouts for more workers at the entrance. Jae-hyun feels the child's vanished hope crushing his heart, while his dream of Javier's return fuels dread, compelling him to sacrifice personal longing for the estate's survival. With tunnel progress hinging on the new soldier squads and the heating upgrade stalled, the looming arrival of Javier and his silent companion threatens to shatter both the construction schedule and Jae-hyun's fragile resolve.
Absolute cinema. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari and grab some popcorn.
Lloyd Frontera erupts from the grave, igniting a flicker of hope. The title, The Greatest Estate Developer, blazes across the first scene. Behind it, a glyph Tamui pulses, whispering of forgotten power. Courtiers stare, unease rippling through the hall. A dead noble, a missing key, a kingdom teetering on collapse. The monarch thrusts a summons toward the kneeling courtier for answers. The courtier drops to the cold stone, his voice trembling with memory. He confesses, Once, he and Lloyd Frontera seized the Dragon King's fire to leap into another realm. They begged the monarch of dragons to pull them home. Now he warns. Lloyd vanished through the gate of reincarnation. No soul knows where he emerged. The commander steps toward Kim So-ho, hand firm on his shoulder, and declares, "Not a single soul doubts you'll return, Kim So-ho." Murmurs ripple through the council, then a close ally leans in, adding, "And I, too, never once believed you'd be lost." Their words ignite Kim's spirit, forging ironclad confidence in the group's belief that he will survive. Not a single person doubts that you'll return, Kim So-ho.
And I, too, never once thought you would remain lost.
With morale high, they prepare to test the new sigil. A steadfast night closes in on Kim So-ho, eyes unwavering. He says, "Because you taught me that to reach any goal, we must always look forward." A sharp voice slices the calm. Bella steps forward, eyes locked on So-ho. "Buddy, why work hard if you stay gloomy?" She challenges, recalling the client employee who chased him out of affection, then grew confused by his silence. So-ho feels the sting of past neglect. His cold demeanor threatens to alienate allies crucial for breaching the Dragon King's barrier.
Buddy, why work hard if you stay gloomy?
A quick "got it" follows. The team watches as the schematic crashes onto the table, a crisp sheet snapping into place. A hand slams it down, shouting, "Got it!" The signal confirms the missing entry pass is secured. A teammate asks, "A dream?" So-ho nods, expanding. "I dreamed I was reincarnated into a novel as an extra." He pauses, then mentions opening his eyes, implying he now lives that story. The confession blurs reality and imagination, reinforcing that ordinary people can become heroes.
A dream.
"Yeah, I dreamed I was reincarnated into a novel as an extra." The revelation fuels their resolve to find the hidden entry pass. The massive gate of reincarnation towers over the battlefield, stone arches glowing with pale light, casting long shadows on cracked earth. Lloyd Frontera and his companions stand at its base, eyes locked on the rune-etched doorway. Lloyd repeats the words spoken to him, acknowledging that every phrase truly resonates. He nods, letting the truth settle, and begins to consider the implications. By accepting the counsel, he opens the path to actionable plans. This acceptance is crucial for turning theory into a real estate breakthrough. Next, he seeks the hidden entry pass that could unlock the dragon's lair. Lloyd ponders a wild possibility. Perhaps this world is the dream, and the novel's world is the true reality. He weighs the reversal, feeling a chill at the thought of being trapped in a fabricated realm. This speculation could change his strategy, forcing him to treat the current battlefield as an illusion.
A breathless courier storms the royal courtyard, slamming a sealed soul letter into Lloyd's hands. He forces Lloyd to fold the Dragon King schematics, stamp the seal, and chart the ominous H&H warning tone on his map. Lloyd confronts his lingering alienation, feeling the crushing weight of a hero stripped of power. He embraces the stark truth that his dreams may be the false reality, gaining purpose while losing the comforting veil of denial. The echoing H&H chant drifts from the forest, marking a hidden danger on his map. Lloyd wonders whether the world he inhabits is a fabricated dream, and what unseen threats linger beyond the hills.
What are you waiting for? Hit the button. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari.
He shattered reality. His father's death ignites a kingdom's revolt. The title blazes, the greatest estate developer. Lee Junwoo, a modern real estate ace, awakens. He lands in a barren medieval realm. Land is scarce, power is greed. He leverages market knowledge. He launches a development firm. He erects grand estates. He rewrites land law. He claws up the hierarchy. He slashes corrupt nobles. He crushes rival developers. All signs point to a clash. Lord Guang and the Imperial Regent loom. Lord Guang's next move looms over the city. Yal faces a shimmering distortion field blocking his path. He yells, demanding answers. He blames the barrier for imprisoning his father. Yal mutters, frustrated, while preparing a makeshift launcher. He recalls an old demonstration using the same loop protocol. He urges his companions to move quickly. He calls them irritating for slowing him down. Time runs out before the barrier seals. Any delay could doom the rescue. "I figured, old show. Hurry up, go, TCH, you irritating people." Tyron watches, uneasy about Y'all's impatient rush. Hope surges as the Dragon King lowers his wings. Y'all bows deeply, thanking the merciful dragon. He grants safe passage through the barrier. The dragon's roar echoes, promising protection. Dragon King's aid gives Y'all a chance to cross the gate. He can continue his search for his father. Y'all steps through the cracked arch. The air shivers with raw energy. He and his father descend a spiral staircase. It is carved into the tower's stone. Ancient runes line the walls, glowing faintly. The device projects a faint blue light onto the glyphs. It matches their pattern. Y'all records the symbols. He realizes they may be part of the activation sequence. The staircase ends at a vaulted chamber. It is filled with dust-caked machinery. Their progress brings them closer to the secret gate. A hidden console awaits activation in the chamber. The device flashes a garbled readout. W then, K107. Y'all squints, noting numbers rise sharply. The first symbol blinks, then steadies. The weight of family debt crushes Y'all. He looks at the shattered ledger on the floor. He says, "Our family. We have a lot of debt, don't we?" He slams the device, demanding the gate open. He wants to rescue his father and settle the balances. The surge spikes, lighting the room. If the gate opens, they can retrieve the funds. The loot lies beyond. If not, the debt seals their fate. Our family.
Y'all and Tyron blast through the marble barrier, shattering the chandelier and exposing a hidden stair where a cloaked figure summons a vortex that tears the gate open, flooding the hall with blinding light. Y'all confronts the crushing weight of his family's debt, feeling his love rejected in the cafe echo. Yet his resolve hardens as he vows to reclaim honor and protect the fragile future of his lineage. A jagged crack glows behind them, and the ancient runes pulse ominously, hinting that a greater power awakens beyond the barrier, leaving Y'all and Tyron poised on the brink of an unknown, perilous showdown.
You ask for the best. I deliver. Subscribe to Manwa with Harry.
The greatest estate developer detonates the tower, a thunderous blast that forces the whole city into a frantic countdown. Shards of stone rain down, tearing the skyline apart. A choking cloud of ash blankets Frontera, while a luminous four-shaped glyph pulses within the smoke, whispering of power. Every eye widens, hearts hammer, as the crowd braces for the inevitable fallout. The tremor of that blast will echo through every street, and Frontera's collapse will be felt in every corner. Frontera's magical foundations shatter, and the city crumbles into a yawning chasm. Lloyd watches the Earth Tier open, swallowing whole houses, debts, and memories in a single hungry maw. Torres ponders aloud whether the Queen will grace the capital this year, a question heavy with anticipation. Baibong answers, noting the kingdom's tangled affairs and that powerful ministers are already rallying against the ceremonial procession. Their dialogue exposes a brewing political storm that could snuff out any hope of royal favor.
I was wondering if the Queen would come this year.
I heard affairs heavy lately. Ministers strongly oppose it. Yes. I guess so.
Baibong's mind drifts back to her home realm, the twist of fate that hurled her across dimensions, and the acclaim she once basked in for her uncanny, cheat-like abilities. Now, stripped of that edge, she feels the bitter sting of loss. The recollection underscores how dramatically she's fallen, warning of the peril when power fades.
This is...
Baibong's pupils flare. She murmurs, "Oh," as the portal erupts, unleashing a blinding wave that sweeps across the courtyard. The abrupt surge startles the team, demanding an immediate decision. Their next move will determine if they plunge into the rift or retreat.
Oh.
The portal bursts, a searing white blaze flooding the courtyard. Torres lunges, Baibong reels backward while the hamster darts ahead. The earth shudders as arcs of magical energy ripple outward. Their forms begin to levitate toward the glowing arch. Silent onlookers stare awestruck. Torres claws the portal's rim, poised to leap. The portal's rhythm spikes, a throbbing surge. Baibong grasps her heart, eyes wide, whispering.
Torres, Bibiong, and the massive hamster smash through the throbbing archway, the portal detonating in a blinding flash that hurls them into a liquid glass tunnel, ejecting them onto a shattered violet-tinted plateau. Bibiong's heart hammers against her ribs as she grips the trembling hamster. her dread of the unknown clashing with the torrent of raw magic that promises might yet threatens to overwhelm her will. A line of cloaked figures bearing a radiant banner materializes, their commander pointing at the intruders and demanding they advance, while Torres and Bibiong hover on the brink of obedience or defiance as the plateau shudders beneath their feet.
Things are not what they seem. Subscribe to Manwa with Harry before the big reveal drops.
Ancient ancestors fill the vaulted hall. Their stone-thick voices reverberate. They summon Lean Alicia, the royal priestess. They demand she bind Lloyd Fruntra, the firstborn, as the kingdom's consort. The question hangs like a blade. Sacred law requires obedience. Defiance summons death. The council watches, breath held. This verdict will seal the Fruntra line to the throne, or erase it. Midnight looms, the developer's deadline. Lean Alicia's answer will carve the pact in stone. Lean Alicia strides to the altar, staff raised high. Ancestors and nobles watch her silhouette. She declares acceptance of the sacred command. Her voice rings across the stone. Ancestors nod, chanting approval. The royal seal flares on a slab. Lanterns blaze as the festival swells. Musicians roar lively tunes, nobles sway, laughter rings. A massive hamster rolls a pastry-laden cart across the courtyard, drawing cheers. Children chase sparkling ribbons, fireflies lighting their faces. From the balcony, Lean Alicia watches, eyes softening at the revelry. Lloyd stands near the altar, scanning the crowd, calculating how celebration could cloak his next move. The magical crystal pulses brighter, syncing with the drums. Servants ladle steaming stew, incense mingles with spice. Ancestors' silhouettes linger on the walls, silent witnesses to the binding pact. As night deepens, Lean Alicia prepares to voice her true feelings. Lean Alicia steps onto the central dais, the crowd hushed. A translucent voice echoes from the crystal. All who hear this must accept the union or face death. The royal herald steps forward, scroll in hand, reading the law aloud. The crowd murmurs, some clutching chests, others whispering prayers. A nervous servant eyes the crystal, recalling his earlier mutter. The law's weight settles over the festival, turning merriment into dread. The decree ties the Fruntra line to the royal bloodline forever. The nobles now brace for the ceremonial binding that follows. The crowd splits. Some nobles raise cups in forced cheer. Children stop chasing ribbons, eyes wide. Courtiers exchange uneasy glances, fearing the penalty. A servant drops his tray, tea spilling onto stone. The altar glows intensely, the sigil blazing with magical fire. Shadows of the ancestors converge, forming a luminous crown above the Fruntra crest. The crowd bows, some with fear, others with hope. The crown's appearance signals the moment Lean Alicia must decide. Her acceptance will seal the marriage and the kingdom's future. A sudden chill hints that Kim So-ho will soon break onto the scene. The altar blazes brighter, casting sharp light across the stone floor. Luminous silhouettes of Fruntra ancestors rise above the crest, trembling with blue fire. Spirits pulse in rhythm with the sigil. The crowd watches the apparitions, murmurs rising then falling. Lean Alicia steps forward, eyes fixed on the ghostly figures. Lean Alicia steps forward, eyes fixed on Lloyd. She smiles, then declares, "Your face looked so handsome just now that I did it, because I love potatoes." The crowd murmurs, surprised by the odd reason. Her words break the ceremony's formal tone. The comment hints that personal feelings will mix with political duty.
Your face looked so handsome just now that I did it, because I love potatoes.
Her next line questions Lloyd's racing heartbeat. Lean Alicia tilts her head, raises an eyebrow, and asks, "Potatoes." The marble hall fills with murmurs. A crowd erupts with a loud "Hiya" as the echo bounces off pillars. The sound draws the ancestors' statues, which glow faintly. The royal dais stands empty, waiting for the firstborn to appear. The shout signals the ceremony's beginning. Next, Lean Alicia steps forward to ask the crucial question. Lean Alicia walks to the dais, eyes fixed on the empty throne. She raises her voice, demanding the answer that will bind the Fruntra lineage to the throne. She reminds the crowd that the law decrees death for anyone who refuses the queen's marriage. Stakes tighten around Lloyd, whose family debt looms over every decision. The herald's voice reverberates. The royal consort returns. Let the ceremony proceed. Torches flare higher, casting elongated shadows that dance across the marble floor. Lloyd Frontra bows deeply, the sigil on his palm still glowing, while lean Alicia smiles, eyes reflecting firelight. The senior noble, now subdued, folds his ledger and places it on a nearby table, resignation etched on his face. The court scribe hands the freshly inscribed decree to the queen, who signs it with a swift stroke of the dagger, now sheathed. Ancestors' statues, fully illuminated, stand as silent witnesses. The crowd erupts into a coordinated chant, "Long live the consort!" The hall fills with a chorus that drowns out lingering doubts.
A glowing sigil erupts on Lloyd's palm, pulsing as ancestors' statues watch. The herald proclaims the royal consort's return, and the court scribe crowns the newborn Kim Soho as the greatest estate developer amid ancestral magic. Lloyd feels his shattered legacy ignite into fragile hope, while the populace clings to the promise that infant Kim Soho can resurrect their crumbling estate and restore honor to a fallen lineage. Yet the half-scrawled ancestral decree flickers on stone, and unseen forces stir, leaving the fate of the Frontra Manor and Kim Soho's destiny hanging on a whisper of power.